Like I said, my colleague last week did a very good job introducing data science to you. I'm just going to share my screen and then show you what we are going to be doing. There's a lot to do. And just like what my colleague said last week, 1 month, or let me say 3 sessions or 4 sessions is not enough to really cover everything that we need to do. But the good thing is that this is just like a primer. This is meant to prime your passion. This is meant to prime you to want to do more, right? And that is why what Brightflare is doing is to, make you want to do more. This is not at this point. There's so many things that we need to do. So I just want to reiterate what my colleague has said last week, that there's so much more that is needed to be done, but that is not going to stop us from starting, right? The idea is that we want to prime your passion, we want to prime your interest, right? And as time goes on, you'll get better, right? Just like everyone, time is just what you have. You get better as time goes on. So, like I said, I'm not going to be spending so much time discussing, you know, discussing, you know, some of the things that my colleague already said. I saw that you guys have discussed what data science is all about, and including different domains that are within the scope of data. Data as a profession. We have data science, we have data analysis, we have data engineering, we have even BI, business intelligence. So all of those things have been covered last week. But this week, I'm just going to be taking you through the basics of or the fundamentals of some of these things that we're talking about. So, but before I start, I want to hear from you. Just in 3 minutes, based off what you did last week, do you have any question that you want to ask me? Based off what was done last week, do you have any question? Anything that, like I said, I want my class to always be interactive, people to just mute their mic, because that is the only way I know that you are getting what we are discussing, right? So feel free to unmute your mic. Do you have any question whatsoever based off what was discussed last week? I just don't want to be the only one talking. So please feel free to unmute your mic.
Good morning, Mr. Miwa. So please do the class for data analysis too.
This is data science, Kelvin. This is
Okay.
data science class.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. So any question? Any question? Any question? Okay, I think somebody's in the chat. Let me see if I can get what's in the chat. Okay. Olakole, thank you. Thank you. No question. Okay, good. That's also a response. Thank you. Okay. I believe there are no questions. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So the framework I'm going to be using to take us for this week and next week, because I'm still going to come back next week, right, to conclude on my session, is that I'm going to be using one of the data science courses that I've seen that has helped me personally when I started in this field. Is a data science from Carnegie Mellon University, and everybody, if you know Professor Zico Kotler, Professor Zico Kotler is a professor that works in data science and AI machine learning, and he had a very great he introduced this course when he was teaching some CMU students. So this course really helped me. Of course, I'm going to provide you with the link and the material so that you can also reference them, right? And it's important that we discuss some things, because the foundation matters. Fundamentals matters a lot. Even when you become a senior data scientist, or you become a data science manager, you will see that your fundamentals are still very important every point of the way. So yeah, this is just what I'm going to be trying to introduce. I will just do a brief introduction about data science. Like I said, I'm not going to dwell on it. We're going to talk about data collection and scraping. When I say scraping, this is just an idea to tell you what scraping is. Web scraping, like we know, is one of the data science data collection methodology. So we might not do an in-depth web screening, but I will show you what it looks like because that is the whole point of this session, is to prime your interest. Many of you already know what a Jupyter notebook is, and for the sake of those who don't know, you will see what a Jupyter notebook looks like. We'll talk about relational data. I know my colleague last week share some link with you, W3 School, where you can learn Python, SQL. I will talk about the fundamentals of relational data. We'll talk about visualization and some of these things. So I'll provide you with this link so that you can just go through it. But let's just talk about the introduction. There are some important things that I feel like I must reiterate because a lot of people, when they hear data science, so many things comes to their mind, right? So many things comes to people's mind when you hear data science. Some people think, oh, is a discipline where you just have to write code. Oh, some people think you need math. If you don't have math, you can't do data science. If you don't have statistics, you can't do data science. Oh, some people think it's meant for some people. It's not. I want to just pick some certain things. And like I said, I'm not going to spend so much time discussing this, right? Um, Let me just make this smaller. Okay, good. So what is data science? Simple. Data science is the application of computational and statistical techniques, compute and statistics, to address or gain insight into some problem in the real world. If your computation and statistics application is not solving a problem, then it is still not data science. So key phrases here is that data science is what? Is an application of computational techniques. All right. That means it contains some algorithms. If you have background in computer science, you understand what I mean by algorithms. But if you don't worry. Is the idea about computational means you need to apply some algorithms, all right? It involves some algorithmic methods. And then the next keyword is statistical techniques. Everybody know what statistics is. I mean, we all have backgrounds in mathematics, and a part of mathematics when we were when we were in primary school and secondary school, we were taught statistics. So statistical inference let us build predictions. So what allow data science to be able to make prediction or make forecasting is the statistics, all right? And of course, the real world is where we are. The real world is the business. Many of you are here because you want to make impact in the real world. Many of you are here because you want to be able to use data science to solve problems. Even though you want to build a career in it, right? Which is beautiful, but you still also want to create value in the real world. All right. So in short, data science is just statistics plus data collection plus data processing plus machine learning plus visualization plus business insight plus for scientific hypothesis plus big data, etc. So that is why we say that data science is multi-domain, multidisciplinary. So that means everybody uses data science everywhere. Whether you are working in finance, you are working in investments, you're working in supply chain, you're working in manufacturing, everybody produce data. And so that's why there's a need for data science. All right. So I just wanted to make it very plain. Like I said, it's very, very important. I make this. Honestly, it's important because a lot of people see data science as so many things, right? And data science, and there are many things that data science is not. And just one of the things data science is not is that data science is not just machine learning. All right. A lot of you think that, oh, once I come to data science, I'm going to be building machine learning. You are correct, but that is not just the only thing that you do. All right. I'm going to give you this, but I just want to demystify some things. All right. Data science is not just machine learning. Data science is not just statistics. It's a combination of so many things. Data science is not just big data. Just because you have big data doesn't mean that data science is just you being able to wrangle data and all of those. No, there is more to it. What value does your data have if you're unable to apply the concept of statistics to it. What value does your data have if you're unable to visualize? What value does your data gives you if you're unable to um, if you're unable to derive insight from it? So data science is not so many things. All right. So I feel like I needed to demystify this and then make you know that there's so much that you can know. So I don't know if anybody have question, but you will give me just 30 seconds to click turn on the AC. Just 30 seconds. But if you have any question, all right, I'm back. Any questions? Sorry for that. The room was getting stuffy and I needed to turn on the AC. Any
I
question?
have I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
If my focus is to be a data science engineer, do I still need to focus on the aspects of um data collection, cleaning, and the likes that is supposed to be handled by data scientists?
Okay, so if I hear you clearly, data science engineer, I mean, there are so many, there are so many titles nowadays, but don't get confused. There's a data engineer, there's a data scientist, there's a data analyst, right? So if what you mean is that as a data scientist, do you still need to handle data collection, right? Is that the question you're asking as a data scientist?
As like the dream is to be able to build models to
Mm-hmm.
automate processes.
Yeah,
So so and I had the bit of having to collect data and
yeah,
clean data, and
yeah.
that was talked about last week, and it was explained as that's handled by data scientists. They sort of do the collection, cleaning, and the initial training. Then the machine learning engineer now does the model, maybe for that training and deploying, to the best of my understanding. So
Good.
so I'm thinking, since they're sort of somehow related,
Mhm.
d- do I still need to like put in any efforts towards knowing how to be a data scientist before I can go for that goal of being a machine learning engineer?
Awesome. So your goal is to become a machine learning engineer, right?
Yes.
Build models, put models in production, right? And then your question now is that if your goal is to become a machine learning engineer, why would you need to worry yourself about data collection, maybe even data cleaning? Let me tell you, that is the whole point of this discussion, of this gathering. Most of the time, right, the skills are transferable. And I tell people, and this is me telling you from a professional standpoint, when you start out in this industry, I always tell people that you go horizontal. And what I mean by you go horizontal is at the early stage of your career, it is not always the best thing to specialize because in the real world, nobody is going to just hand over a clean data for you to build your model. In the real world, you have to have some data cleaning skills, some data collection skills. So I asked you a question, Olakunle, for example. You happened to be a machine learning engineer in a company, maybe an e-commerce company, and you only have, let's say, a data engineer. That is even if you have a data engineer. Let's say you have a data engineer, and then they want you to build a model. There is no way a data engineer will put the data that you need to build your model in a structure or format that you need. You will still be the one to go to the database. The data is there. The work of the data engineer is to make sure that the data is available. It is transferred to where it should be. It is still going to be your response. Even though you're a machine learning engineer, I'm telling you that there are still some skills that you need to transfer from data science, from data analysis, that is going to help you. So to answer your question in one word, yes, you still need to worry about data collection, even though you're a machine learning engineer, because it's not just black and white in the real world. Most times, you're not going to just have somebody hand over data to you to just build model. And let me tell you, even when you build your model, you need to understand your data. It is through data understanding you're able to make the decision about the model you are building. And data understanding comes from the point of collection and not just exploration. Do you understand? So
Yes,
it is
yes,
not
it's
just
clear.
the question, it is not just black and white. If you expect me to just tell you, no, you don't need to worry about no, then I will not be doing you, I'll be doing you a disservice. So the answer to that question is simple. Even as a machine learning engineer, right? You need some transferable skills. You need a little bit of data collection skills, a little bit of data wrangling, a little bit of data science, a little bit. That is just the way the industry is. Nobody's just going to hand over to you data. Even in most corporations, multinationals, all those big tech companies, you will still have to go to the database sometimes to bring your data because you are the one who knows the variables you need to build your models. The data engineer is responsible just to make the data available to you. You choose to do it whatever way you want. That is why this skill is needed. So, but thank you very much, Olakule, for that question. At least that helped me to provide more context. Any more questions? We are just 2 minutes to 11:30. So, and there's so many things I want to cover. Any question? But I want to be sure if people are following. Any other question? So, in summary, we know what data science is, and we also know what data science is not. I repeat, data science is a combination of so many things. All right. Data collection, statistics, data processing, a lot of things is a multidisciplinary domain. All right. It's a multidisciplinary domain. So when you are coming into this kind of industry, you have to prepare your mind that it is not just one thing. All right. But it's a bit of many things. That is just what I want to demystify. So again, data science is not just big data. Data science is not just machine learning. Data science is not just statistics. It's a combination of so many things. Thank you. I believe I've done a bit of justice to that. And then the next thing that I want to discuss with you is data collection. Many of us already, I know we already heard this, that the first phase of every data science project is data collection. I mean, many of you might have heard about that. There's a framework developed so many years ago. It is called CRISP-DM. CRISP-DM. CRISP-DM is like a framework. So you will see that for every data science project, you have to start with, of course, a problem statement. There's a problem that needs to be solved. But in order to solve that problem, there is a need to collect data. All right. So because of that, we're going to be talking about different data collection methodology. All right. And many of you have heard about your Excel, your databases, your web scraping. There are many ways in which you can collect data. All right. And data comes in different structure. Some structured, as in your rows and columns. Some comes unstructured, or structured data like images, audios, they are unstructured. And there are different ways to collect these different types of data. All right. But for the sake of our class, right, of course, we don't have so many, we don't have enough time to discuss this extensively. I'm just going to be showing you one aspect of data collection, which is web scraping. All right, web scraping. I'm going to be showing you just one way to collect data from the web. At least the reason why I'm choosing that method is because everybody have access to the internet, and everybody have access to Google. So you can just simply, choose a website that, oh, this is data I need and I want to get this data. There are ways around it. But in most enterprise environments, you are going to be working with databases. So that's why my colleague last week introduced you to W3 schools where you can learn SQL. All right. And there are so many other platforms online. There's SQL boards where you can learn SQL. Please, if just try and get through these resources, get through this site and see what all of these things means and how you can get involved. It is important for you to know that there are different data collection methods. You can I can see somebody putting something on the chat. Yeah, there's SQL boats. There's SQL boats. Yeah, that's it. That's the way it is spelled. There's SQL boat. There's W3 schools. There is a lot. Honestly, there's a lot. There's a lot. So just look at them. You will see how you can use SQL to interact with the databases. It teaches you how you can collect data using relational approach, how you can relate two tables. I'm hoping to teach you the theoretical part of relational database, but but the main method we're going to be focusing on is web scraping as a data methodology, as a way to collect data, because every data science project starts with data collection. So the moment you have been able to ascertain the objective of your project, which is more like the reason why you are doing this project, then the next thing to do is to collect data to solve that problem. So I'm not going to be spending so much time on this. But yeah, I just want to let you know that there are so many methodologies when it comes to data collection. Any question before I move to the next? Any question? Don't worry, I'm going to provide you with this link on the WhatsApp group so that you can always go through, even when I'm not here. This becomes like your assets, right? And then you can just continue to use it when you like. Any question on data collection? Any question? Okay. All right. If there are no questions, I will go straight to now we are getting into the demonstration. How many of you know what Jupyter Notebook is? Let me hear from you. How many of you know what Jupyter Notebook is? Can anybody tell me if they know what a Jupyter Notebook is? I mean, you are data scientists. There are many data scientists here, or let me say there are data science enthusiasts here. You must have heard about it. Can anybody tell me what they know about Jupyter Notebook? I'm looking at my time. It's already to 12. So, yeah, Olakunle.
Is it
Olakunle has been very engaging in this. Thank you
is
so
it
much, Olakunle.
yeah,
What is it?
is it an online ID?
Yeah, it's an online IDE, but it's so much more than just an online IDE. But thank you. Yeah, it's an online IDE. Yeah. Any other suggestion? Any other suggestion? Okay. I would just assume that people want to mute their mic. They don't want to say so much. I believe a lot of people already know what a Jupyter Notebook is. All right. All right. So a Jupyter Notebook is a browser-based coding environment. It is used extensively for prototyping and is an interactive development area. So whenever you want to test out your ideas in data science, whenever you want to start your data collection, your data exploration, your pre-processing, it is usually a good place to start. There are other coding environments, trust me. There's PyCharm that has also a Jupyter Notebook. People even use Visual Studio Code. Just use what works for you. But I think this is generally acceptable in the data space. Jupyter Notebook is just an online, it is a browser-based environment. And I will show you what it looks like. It is where we test out our ideas. Whenever you have an idea or whenever you start a data science project, one of the things that allows you to be able to interact with your data, to test out your statistical concept, to do data wrangling is your Jupyter Notebook. And it's very interactive, very, very interactive in nature. I will show you what it looks like. Very, very interactive development area. All right. So it is the center, it is very, very, nice. Now, let me just show you what it looks like. Let me create a new notebook. The reason why I'm going to be using the Jupyter Notebook on Google is because it's freely available to you. So everybody on your system or whenever you have time, you can go to collab.research.google.com, or you can just search for Google Colab. It takes you right here. This is what a Jupyter Notebook looks like. Anywhere you go, this is what a Jupyter Notebook looks like. Whether it is Anaconda, whether it is there are many platforms that make Jupyter Notebooks available, right? But this is what a Jupyter Notebook looks like. Now, I want to tell you certain things that are important in a Jupyter Notebook, and I want you to bear in mind these things are very important. The central units within a Jupyter Notebook are the cells. Let me show you what a cell looks like. This is a cell. This is where I can type A is equal to 1 plus 1. This is a cell. I can add additional cell. This is another cell. This is another cell. This is another cell. That is another cell. So the central unit within a Jupyter Notebook are the cells. These cells can either can contain code or markdown. I will show you. So now for me, this is a code. Let me say A is equal to 1 plus 1. YB is equal to 2 plus 2. Now, C is equal to A plus B. Now, this is just a code, or let me say a simple mathematics that I just put in code, right? I can connect to, of course, there are many ways you can connect to it. This is just the way it works in Google, right? But if you are using Anaconda, you will see other ways you can connect to your runtime. But in Google, I will just activate my runtime this way. You can see I'm clicking on this runtime in order for me to execute my code, right? So let me just say this again. I know a lot of you here, or maybe people that are going to be watching these later, they might feel bored at this point because they already know all these things. Please bear with us. We are just trying to ensure that we don't leave anybody behind, right? So, and that's why we are going through all these basics, all these basics, right? So it's important that you just, bear with us. So now I've enabled my runtime. All I need to is to execute this code. Whether it's going to give me a result, I don't know, but you can see that it ticks it. It tells me that this is successful. So let's say I'm writing a Python code, of course. So if I say print for me the result of my C, if I say print C, it tells me that C is what? 6. And if you check it, 1 plus 1 is what? 2. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So 4 plus 2 will give you 6. So this is how cells works. Cells are like the central unit of your Jupyter Notebook. This is me just trying to introduce Jupyter Notebook to you, by the way. All right. And let me tell you, there are so many other things that you can do with a Jupyter Notebook. There are so many other things. I need to mention this, that Jupyter Notebook support languages other than Python. It is not just Python that you can write in a Jupyter Notebook. Those are also those myths that I want to demystify. A lot of people think, oh, it's only, no, you can write R, you can write SQL, you can write Spark. There are so many other languages other than Python. But at this current time, we're going to be using just Python. But there are many other things that you need to know that you can write, even LaTeX. You can include, if you're into research and you want to produce LaTeX, you can do that in a Jupyter Notebook as well. You can do your equations and all of those things. You know the things that LaTeX does, you can do them within a Jupyter Notebook, right? Another thing that I want to say is that there is another thing. It is not just code that you can write in a Jupyter Notebook. You can write tests, and it is called Markdown. So for here, you can see that this is a code cell. I'm going to create a test cell. So that means I can write things. Let's say I want to write this is our second data science course in Brightflare. All right. You can just your normal, Word document is we call it Markdown. All right. The first thing we are going, I can give the first thing. I can write so many things, right? The first thing we discussed is introduction, or let me say is what is data science. So maybe you are writing, as you're writing your code, you want to be documenting your process, or you want to provide a bit of explanation, all of these things, and then you can execute. Just the same way you can execute a code cell, you can execute a markdown. This is what we call a markdown. So after doing this now, I can just execute my code. I can the same way I execute, I can just execute, and you can see that it's there. So there are so many things that you can do using a Jupyter Notebook. But like I said, the idea is just to show you some of these things. We don't have enough time to show you all of the things that Jupyter Notebook can do, but this is where you can try out your ideas. And like you see, you will see so many things that you can do with a Jupyter Notebook. Honestly, we don't have the time, right? And I just want to show you that some of these things are possible. You can try them at your leisure, and then from there, we'll take it from there, right? So, is there any question on Jupyter Notebook before I move to the next thing? Any question on Jupyter Notebook? It's okay if you don't have a question, but if you have a question, don't worry. There are no stupid, yeah, I forgot to mention this. In my class, there are no stupid questions.